the word I love you is one of the most abused words in human history. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, and you know, do you really mean what you say? That's the question. Right? Women always ask that question. I said that already yesterday. It's bewilderment. Wala, bewilderment and loss of one's rational faculties out of love. Therefore, the grammar scholars would say a she-camel is said to be in wala or waliha when her yearning intensifies for her calf at separation. A very related triliteral root to wala, which is love, is wahl. Which means fear. This in the Arabic grammar called metathesis or qalbul makan. So you just switch the three letters and you come to a totally different stem or root, but they are related. I know you're saying, what do you mean? Fear, this one means fear, and this one means love or bewilderment. What do you mean they're related? They are related. Not because they have the same triliteral root, but because through metathesis, they are related. It is because those people who are truly in love, they have that fear when they first approach the beloved, truly. When you truly approach the beloved and you truly are in love, you're truly in love, and you haven't yet gotten there yet. But you're approaching, you turn pale and you tremble. That's wahl. Wala and wahl. Bewilderment and loss of one's rational faculties out of love and fear. Well, you know, Sibawayh, one of the Arab grammar people, or the people who actually were very famous for his Arabic linguistic scholarship. He says, Al-Ilah or Allahumma or Ilah has also a cousin relationship with these triliteral roots. And he goes to say, now some, as you all know, some scholars would say that Ism al-Jalala has no ishtiqaq. In other words, has no jadr, has no stem. But some linguists, they say it does have a stem in the Arabic language. And it comes from this. And as if there is within the meaning of the name Allah, there is that love. But didn't he call himself Al-Wadud, the most loving and the beloved? And then how would that relationship, when you say the stem of the name could be linguistically, according to one madhab of the linguistic scholars, be related to the term Allah or La or Ilah? Well, because you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bewilders every lover that approaches him and confounds every mind that gets close to him out of love. This may go to become through also metathesis to hawl, the same triliteral root. Hawl means intensified fear. If wahl means fear, hawl means intensified fear. And that's also happens to be related. How so? Because when that person who is in love and bewildered and lost their mental or rational capacities and faculties out of love, and they're approaching their beloved, they are in fear and they're trembling. But when they actually are covered with the mercy and they're showered with the effects of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are in intensified fear at the first beginning. Until it becomes love, which means infatuation, because once you know him and you know how kind he is subhanahu wa ta'ala unto you, and you know how loving he is subhanahu wa ta'ala unto you, that he is, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the authentic narration told us, that he is more kind unto you than the breastfeeding mother on her own baby. First you have intensive fear, then intensified fear. But once you become arif billah, once you know Allah, that hawl becomes lahu, which becomes infatuation now. You're truly in love. Now you go through these phases until obviously you become in law. Same triliteral root. Illuminating light in the Arabic language. Now you are emanating nur. You see, you have to go through the love, to the wahl, fear, to the hawl, to that intensified fear, because you don't know who you're standing before. Until you go to the lahu, then when you realize and you start knowing who Allah is, you don't just talk about Allah, you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't just talk about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. You know Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam through one of his attributes at least. Through one of the things, it's not just lip service. You feel him and you live him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then you'll become like nurun ala nur. You'll become nur ala nur. Yahdi Allahu li nurihi man yasha. My dear beloved brothers and sisters, this is the story of love. Not just through metathesis of the Arabic language, but this is a reality. Some people like to keep it on the board, and some people actually experience it and live it in their hearts and souls. The beloved sent the beloved out of love to teach love with love for the sake of love. SubhanAllah. You call it any way you want. لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. And those people who don't know, some of the Sufis call these things talween, coloration, on the path to him. Not just to talk about him. Lots of people talk about him. Not many know him. You know how the Arab poet used to call Layla? You know, Layla is a name of a female. She might be fictional, I don't know. She might have never existed in that sense. But in the old days, instead of calling someone whatever, they might not even know her name. He might have seen a glimpse of her and he just fell in deadly love, platonic love with her. So you call her Layla, you know, or whatever it's worth. And Layla becomes anything. To some Sufis, Layla is the Kaaba actually. So everyone has his own beloved, you know. And one of the poets says, كُلٌّ يَدَّعِي وَصْلًا بِلَيْلَى.